The raw method on the mailer class is great for simple, plain text emails. But for anything more than that, we'll want a different approach. Have a look. I'm going to run PHP Artisan, and if I scroll up, you'll see a make command for an email class. Let's take a look at the help for that. Help make mail. All right, so we give it the name of the class. It looks like there's an option to provide a markdown template. We'll talk about that soon. And that's about it. Okay, PHP Artisan make mail. And what does this represent? Well, for our little demo, it really doesn't represent anything. But it's basically a form to provide your email address, and then the site sends you some kind of dummy letter. So why don't we just call it Contact Me, rather than the usual contact support or things like that. Okay, so now if you run that command, you'll see a new mail folder in your app directory. And if I scroll down, here is where we build the message. And notice at the moment, it's referencing a view. All right, let's try this out. Maybe we have an emails directory in our views folder, and it'll be Contact Me. Okay, so let's scroll down. We'll create that, an emails directory, Contact Me. Now, this is going to be a full HTML email. And here we'll just say it works again. Okay, so now we're sending not a plain text email, but a rich text HTML driven email. Let's get it to work. So we'll go back to our contact controller. We're no longer sending this, so I'll remove it. And instead, we'll say mail to the email address from the form, and we're going to send a new instance of that Contact Me mailer class. All right, and that's all there is to it. Send an email to this person, and we're going to use this mailer class that references that view. All right, let's give it a shot. So once again, we have our form. We'll send an email to foo, and there we go. So if we switch back, there we go. So now we're not sending, once again, a plain text email, but we have a full HTML email. And you can view that here. Now, if I switch back to the mailer class and to the view, often when you're sending an email, you'll need to reference data. Maybe data about the current user, or using Laracast as an example, lessons the user hasn't yet watched, some kind of data that should be passed to the view. Well, we can do that in the same way that we always do. So let's continue this silly example. Maybe we want to email the person about some kind of topic. It sounds like you want to hear more about some kind of topic. You get the idea. Now, at the moment, of course, this won't work. Let's go back to the mailer class, and we're going to say, all right, I'm going to expect some kind of topic in my view. And now here's a cool thing about Mailable classes. Any public property, not private or protected, only public, any public property's value will instantly be available within the view. Okay, so if we're going to pass in data to this mailer, let's accept the topic and then initialize it like so. Great. So now we simply pass in what is relevant. And this is often the results of a database query or something from a form. In our case, we'll hard code it. We're going to contact the user about this topic. Okay, let's give it another shot. Send an email to foo. And if I switch back, there we go. It sounds like you want to hear more about shirts. Why don't we make the subject reflect that though? So once again, go back to our mailer class, and we can do it here. The subject is more information about the topic, which would be some kind of string. Okay, so we try it again. And now if I switch back, there we go. We've customized the subject of the email. And you'll see there's a number of things we can reference here, and we're not going to go over all of it, but you can send the email later at some point in the future. You can queue it, which means you're not sending the email as part of the current request. You're instead doing it in a more asynchronous way. That way you can return and respond to the user as quickly as possible without forcing them to wait for the email to be sent. There's no need for that. So that's often something you'll reach for. But yeah, you can see tons of things you can reference here. Attachments, BCC, CC, all of the usual stuff you'll need. So now that you're becoming more comfortable with mailer classes, in the next lesson, let's figure out how to use Markdown to compose our emails, which is really neat.